Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 28th of November 2019. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we update on a daily basis. So I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourselves. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab here on the top, and it'll take you to our page. But right now, guys, let's jump into the charts. Now, of course, today is a slightly, could be a slightly calmer day, more calm day. And basically, we have the U.S. markets closed due to Thanksgiving. Now, so basically the main focus will be on Europe today. So during this today's session, of course, and for now, the first chart that I really wanted to pick up on and was FTSE100. Now, I kept talking about FTSE this week and yesterday as well, and basically what I was saying yesterday that in order to continue targeting higher levels, we needed to see a nice daily close above the 7,441 zone. So, and this is what I was saying yesterday as well, that if this level continues to hold, there could be a bit of a bit of declines here, a bit of correction, I would say, because for now the downside is kind of slightly off the table unless it's a small correction. So in a way, the way we could see this one right now playing out is, of course, we'll keep an eye on some of these key levels. So the cash index right now is balancing near the nice round number of 7,400 level. So we're going to keep an eye on that one, because in a way, if it continues to drift below that, then we could aim for slightly lower areas. Initially, we'll target the areas here slightly above the 7,324 mark. So maybe somewhere around these EMAs, maybe the holdup could occur, and the index could reverse back to the upside. So, but again, to be honest, this move here, to predict this move here, could be a little bit of a tricky one. So in a way, in order to be just on the safe side and just to kind of take a very careful and cautious approach, we will wait for a nice good clear move above the 7,441 zone, or as I previously said, ideally a daily close would be great here to see. So, in a way, as I said, given that the cash index has already declined and is currently running below the yesterday's close, so we could see a bit maybe more correction to the downside. We'll be very careful here. A few levels to watch, of course, as I mentioned previously, the 7,324 zone, but slightly above that, we do have this little intraday swing high near the 7,343 mark. So, could be a nice area as well. But of course, let's not over speculate here. For now, let's keep an eye on the 7,400 mark. If it wants to drift below that, then yes, we will consider a possible correction towards the 7,343 mark. So And in order to, let's say, consider the further declines, well, ideally, we would like to see a drop below the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, shown as the black line, and only then we will aim for these lower areas. For now, any kind of pullback for us will be considered as a temporary correction, but as I said, if it starts dropping lower and drops below the 200 EMA, then yep, this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for these sellers. WTI oil. Now, yesterday we did get the crude oil inventories. So I've mentioned in my Trader's Tea Time yesterday, so to keep an eye on this one. And what I was also saying, that in order for us to aim for higher levels, well, we needed to see a nice good push above the 58.70. So that never happened. Instead, the commodity reversed and drifted lower. Again, it drifted lower, found some support near the 50 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, then reversed back to the upside, and is currently still trading below its pivot, today's pivot, which is roughly around the 58.12, 14 zone, roughly around there. So in a way, still, given that the crude oil inventories came out worse than expected, so they with an increase, so that's why basically the oil market kind of reacted in this way, and we had a nice slide here. And the levels that we're going to keep an eye on for now, because we are going to go for a bit of correction, this is what we're going to be targeting here for now. We're going to initially target the 57.20 zone, roughly around the low of the 25th of November. And but if that fails to hold, we still have the lower bound of the rising channel, because as you know, as you can see that the commodity is still within this rising channel. So in a way, everything's overall continues to look good here for WTI oil. But of course, from the very short term perspective, we could see a bit of declines inside this channel. So in a way, keep your eyes on the lower bound. And in a way also, if we see the price traveling towards this area, this is where it could also test the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart here as well. So basically, very strong area of support, also marked near the low of the 21st of November, and that's roughly around the 56.60 zone. So in a way, another important level to watch. But if all this gets broken now, it could turn out to be a little bit ugly on for WTI oil. So guys, let's keep an eye on this one. It's very interesting. But in case, like I said, if it suddenly reverses sharply, we will start considering higher levels only after the 58.70 mark. Ethereum, I haven't looked at this one. Well, I've looked at this one in the beginning of this week. So what I was talking about previously was that if we see a drop below the 144 mark here, then there is a possibility we could see this one drifting lower. You can see that we did have a break lower, but the 4-hour candle never closed above this, but below this 144 mark, and quickly drifted back to the upside, and is now testing this key area of resistance, which previously acted as support zone. That's roughly around the 154, 155 mark. So in a way, we would like to see at least a 4-hour candle closing above this level. As you can see, neither of the 4-hour candles before here managed to close above. They came close, but they still closed below this level. So in a way, keep your eyes on this area. Keep your eyes on I wouldn't be able even to say the level here because it's a little bit unclear, but I would say the area here. And the way you could play this one out is, given that the crypto managed to reach this little high here near the 156 mark, keep your eyes on this one. A break above this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could start aiming for slightly higher levels like the 172 zone, or even above that. But for now, guys, the main area here to watch is, of course, the yesterday's highs near the 156 mark. If we get a clear break above that, then yes, we will aim for higher levels. In terms of the downside, still the same game plan remains with the 144 zone. We would like to see a 4-hour candle closing below this, and only then targeting lower areas. So let's keep an eye on this one, guys. GBPJPY, something that I've talked about yesterday and previously, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this little range here that we got ourselves in, and that's roughly between the 139 zone on the downside and the 141.50, 51 on the upside. So yesterday we received the the say the long-awaited YouGov UK election polls. So basically, of course, no surprise in there. The conservatives continue to take the lead, and the market sees this as a better, slightly better option than the Labour. So, of course, that's understandable because you at least know where conservatives are heading to, and basically what's their plan and how they're prepared to deal with Brexit. So in a way, for now, investors see that as a positive, and for the pound, of course, and this is the reaction that we got. So initially, before the release of the polls, we saw the pair drifting higher, testing the upper side here of this range, and stalling initially around there. But now you can see that it's pushing higher. It's trying to climb further north. Let's see if it can do that. We do have a bunch of good areas of resistance above here, so. And let me just show you one of the levels to keep an eye on, and let me just quickly zoom in here. So the first little obstacle could be near the 142.27 zone, but after that, of course, there is another potential area of resistance, which is around here, which is marked by the low of the 25th of April, and that's roughly around the 143.75 mark. So some good levels to watch. Of course, don't get me wrong, we could still see this one reversing back to the downside. So ideally, we would like to see maybe today's candle closing above this upper bound of this range, and in order just to be a little bit more comfortable with higher levels, because for now it's very close. Yes, it did move higher, and it still has the full potential to go to further north, because it's already trading above this upper bound and above its pivot as well, today's pivot. And in a way, like I said, everything's kind of leading more towards the upside, unless the yen buying starts picking up. Maybe the equity market starts sliding, and we can see that the FTSE 100 cash index is on a slide a little bit. So we'll be very careful here today, guys. Yes, on the one hand, everything's kind of looking quite positive here for the pound. But let's see which one is going to outweigh which. So will it be the stronger pound, or will it be the increased yen buying, which I'm assuming for now, because again, like I said, the looking at the cash indices around the board, across the board, we are seeing a bit of decline. So in a way, investors could be still on the toes, and maybe the yen buying could resume. So, but again, that's a bit of speculation. So let's see how this is going to play out, and like I said, let's see which one will outpull which one, basically. So will it be the GBP that's going to be a little bit on the stronger side? Will it actually be the yen that's going to take center stage? So let's keep an eye on this one, of course. Jumping into GBPCAD, and this is also nice positive atmosphere here. So previously I talked about GBPCAD, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on some of these key areas of support and resistance. These are the two highlighted areas. This is something that we've posted here on trading view, and if it's going to load up, that would be wonderful. But anyway, guys, I mean, I think that's going to take a while. So basically, what I was talking about was that yes, we were trading above this upside support line taken from the low of the 14th of October, but the main levels to watch were these, the highlighted ones, the 1.70 36 37 zone on the downside, and the 1.71 74 on the upside. So as you can see, we did get initially a drop below this upside line, but the rate never kind of closed below the 1.7036, and from where it kind of reversed actually and pushed to the upside. So, and now it's breaking this key area of resistance near the 1.7174. For now, we are still targeting this area right here near the 1.7270. That's the current highest point of November. It would be quite interesting to see if the pair would actually create a new high for November. We still have a few days left, a few trading days left in November. So let's see if this pair can actually create a new high for November. But again, let's not get excited too much. For now, let's be very careful. We are at the end of the month, so anything can happen. Some huge swings could happen, so that's why be very careful with this one, guys. And for now, that's why we're going to only target this area, or should I say near this area, near this 1.7270 zone. So keep an eye on this one, have your stop loss in place, and yep, everything should be fine. USDCHF, another quite interesting pair, and basically I've previously talked about this one. I talked about this rising channel pattern, and I was telling you guys to keep close on the upper bound of the channel. So we managed to take a hit of that, and this is where the holdup occurred. Near also, we've managed to test the psychological 1 zone, and you can see that this is where the pair kind of reversed back down and drifted a little bit lower, but found some support near the 0.9979 mark right here. So again, it reversed and is now trying to test this area again, the area near the psychological 1 zone. Of course, we're seeing a bit of a push higher, and this push higher, and let me just go into the economic calendar very quickly, guys, because we did get some data from Switzerland, and there we go. So we had some slightly better than expected GDP figures from Switzerland, and now this is the interesting reaction that we're having. We're having a nice, we're having the Swiss franc pushing a little bit lower against the US dollar. So this is quite interesting, and it will be quite interesting to see if it can actually continue pushing there, because in a way the data was not bad and it's quite beat estimates, that's why we, for now, maybe this is just a temporary push higher before another, let's say, before a leg of selling. Again, in terms of the downside and how we could play this one out is, of course, if we're going to keep an eye on some of these key areas of support. So, for example, the way you could play this one out is keep an eye on this little level here, the 0.9979 zone. If we get a nice close of a 4-hour candle below that, then this, in a way, could increase the chances of a slightly lower move lower, where we could maybe target areas like this here near the 0.995455 zone, and that's near the upside support line, the short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 18th of November. But again, we would need to see a drop here first below the 0.9979. At the same time, the rate would fall below the 21 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and there could be more chances for this one to drift lower. But again, for now, guys, be very careful here near this upper bound of the rising channel. If this by any chance gets broken and we see a 4-hour candle closing above this, then, well, I mean, this could be quite interesting for the buyers, and this could in a way open the path towards the next potential target near the 1.0028 zone, which is the high, roughly near the high of the 3rd of October, or in other words, the highest point of October. So let's keep an eye on this one, guys. At a very USDCHF is at a very interesting spot. Again, ideally, we would like to see a reversal, maybe a bit of a correction here in this where this scenario would play out. But again, given that it's trying to push higher, let's see if it can do that. But don't forget that we did get the slightly better than expected GDP figures from Switzerland. So in a way, let's see if traders kind of pick up on that, and let's see if actually this kicks in later on and pushes USDCHF a little bit lower. But again, for now, be very careful near this upper bound of the rising channel. And the last pair for the session, euro dollar. Now, perfect hit. I mean, I talked about this one for the whole week, and this is what I kept saying, that we're initially, what we're going to do is we're just going to target this area right here near the 1.0989, and then we're from there. We're going to take it from there and basically have a look at what it wants to do further. So we got our almost managed to reach this level here, and we managed to get a hold up, from which the pair reversed back to the upside a little bit. And of course, now the big question here is what it wants to do now. we will stick to the same levels that I talked about previously in my previous videos. Basically, I'm going to talk still the level that I'm going to be watching here for the upside, slightly for slight upside, let's put it that way, because a push above the 1.1043 mark doesn't really say that now from here we're just going to fly high and continue pushing higher. No, ideally for us to get comfortable with higher levels, we would need to see a push above the 1.1093 level. Until then, any kind of move higher here could be still a tricky one, could get held, and we could see another round of selling. So but that's why we're only going to start looking at some higher levels only if we see a push above the 1.1043. If this one decides to continue drifting lower, well, to be honest, ideally, now at this point in time, we'd wait for a drop below the 1.0989 and only then target slightly lower areas. But for now, you can see that this is a very strong area of support, and in a way, probably we need to put a highlighted area here just because to prove how important this level is here, guys. And you can see that we are kind of rebounding from it. So basically, if we get a drop below this, now this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could start targeting even maybe lower areas. So for now, let's be very careful, guys. It's the end of the month, and so I cannot even stress this enough. It's like, have your stop losses in place just in case, guys. So okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. In terms of economic data today, it should be quite a quiet day. We do have a few data coming out from EU, from the Eurozone, so from Germany, some German preliminary CPI figures. So, and then later on, of course, during the Asian morning tonight, tonight we will be. Tonight during the Asian morning. Later on, basically at the end, during the Asian morning on Friday, let's put it that way, we will be getting the Tokyo core CPI figures, which are, and of course the Tokyo CPI headline CPI figures, which are going to take focus. Yep, we'll keep an eye on those as well. So, but for today, be very careful, guys. Have your stop losses in place, and let's join me on my traders tea time at 14:15 GMT. We'll have a look at some of these instruments, some other ones as well, and we'll see how everything performed. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, guys, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.